Stand up. We live in California, yes. It's a privilege to have everybody. If you've never been here before, the Dream Academy Live is about me working your dreams and believing that your dreams will become a reality. I love to do research, and we found out that at the end of people's lives, that less than 20% of the people say, my dream happened, it happened. It doesn't happen for people. They get stuck, and they start wondering, and that's not good. So I got to make sure that you guys get to where you need to be. And the way you get there is constant reminders, getting around the right people, partnering up. And so that's what we're doing here. And then we also tape it. There's a guy back there with a camera, and we tape it, and then we have this thing called the Dream Academy where you can order it for only $10 a month, and we're raising up 10,000 dreamers from all over the world that will watch this, and then they'll be online. So I'm into helping people's dreams come true. Last night we had a gigantic crowd in Texas, and in South Africa we had 6,000 a night. And this session right after is super, super crowded. And so this is a good format to get me. And then I have the legend, my good friend, Sid Jacobson, sitting on the front row from Marvel Comics. Give Sid a big clap. All the way from Hollywood. And Sid is a real friend, and we're working on projects together. And we'll be doing a question and answer with Sid later, okay? Shake hands with two more people and say, it's going to be a good year, and then you may be seated. Okay. Go ahead and take your notes out. And the top of your notes, it says, follow the favor. I want you just to say that. Say, follow the favor. Follow the favor. And then it says, the Lord bestows favor and honor. It says, no good thing will he withhold from those who walk blameless. So word blameless there actually means whose heart is in the right place. One of the things that I've seen in life, it's not perfect people who usually do great things. It's people that have good motives, a good mindset, a good work ethic. But here, in this particular scripture, it says that no good thing will be withheld from somebody when your heart is correct. And then it says that you have favor and you have honor. So the word favor means blessings, approval, acceptance. It means extensions, advancements. It means God's special benefits. In the biblical idea, 158 times in the Bible, the word favor is used, where favor is on a person's life. I remember the first time Jessica Simpson came here. She was with her dad, Joe, and with Ashley. And I'm trying to tell you, I think she was probably about 16 at the time. I could just tell that she was going to do something. And, you know, the singing is not even what she's about right now. She's about, like, shoes and clothes and accessories. And if you study her, you will see that she is worth tens of millions of dollars today because they were able to take whatever that favor was and do something with it. Robert Kardashian, who is part of this group, would always say to me, you got to get around my kids. My kids have something about them. So it's an amazing thing that sometimes you can spot that people have favor or a family has favor. And they may not always do the right thing with it, but the favor is there. Okay? So somebody say, favor. Favor. Now, to follow means to accept guidance, leadership, and commands of a respected leader. To accept guidance, leadership, or commands of a respected leader. And I talk about three areas that people find favor. Number one, the person. Say person. Now watch. Every person in this place, you have favor. You are made in the image of God. You have favor. That's why every baby that comes out, even if they look ugly, is beautiful to the mother. Right? Because the creator of the child sees that child in a certain light. Oh my gosh, he's adorable. And you're thinking, hopefully, right now, he has a cone head. So to God, the creator, you are beautiful. You may have been told other things. You may have been told how awful you are, what a terrible sinner you are, which keeps so many people away from God. But to God, you are beautiful. You really are. In fact, he says it. He says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You've been born an original. You don't have to die a copy. So favor's on the person. And some people find this out early, and maybe everyone says, you're pretty. You're pretty. Oh my gosh. You are the prettiest girl in this part of town. Well, yes, I am. And maybe I should do pretty girl pageants. And then you get in little beauty pageants, and everybody thinks you're pretty. And then you come to the city and find out there's a lot of other pretty girls in this town. So you're probably going to be needing more than pretty. So different people have been told different things when we were young about our favor that we had or we did not have, our acceptance, our thing. One of the places where we mess up, and I really want you to hear me tonight, is that many of you saw the popular crowd, whether it be in elementary school, middle school, or even in high school, and you thought, I want to be like them, and you really missed it because you should have just been doing you. And what I'm loving about young people today is there's a lot of weird kids that follow Tim Storey. They track me down. They chase me down in airports. They're all about what I'm up to. And a lot of them are weird kids. Sid, we went to Comic-Con together. There's about 120,000, people. And a lot of them would be in the weird group. Pharrell Williams says he's weird. But that's what makes him Pharrell. Will.i.am, who I'm a big fan of, I'm going to try to bring him here to talk. Will.i.am, he says he's weird. I think that some of you are a little off and you tried to act on and you missed your favor because your favor was in the off you. Somebody clap if that makes sense. Like, in my field, I became a famous minister. If you know that or not, whatever. That's what I became. But I don't talk like a minister. I don't act, praise God. I don't act like them. And to some of them, then maybe Tim Storey was like, whoa, is he okay? He's not like us. He doesn't talk all religious. Because I was never supposed to be them. You're supposed to do you. Say, I have favor. Say it strong. Say, I have favor. So you have favor. You have God's little watch. Ding, bing, 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 bing. You got God's ding on you. We just got to figure out what the heck you're going to do with it. Oh my gosh, you're an actress. What? Because you're funny? Oh my goodness, you're a model. But you're 4'6". Come on, people. So let's get real. So favor's on your person. Say person. Favor's also on your path. Say path. Now, a path, as you know, is a road that leads to a destination. Everybody here has favor, but what the heck is your path? That's where we get in trouble. A lot of you guys are tripping right now. That's why you need to be in these sessions, because you're like following the wrong path, because maybe that's what your brother did or your cousin did or your uncle did, or because of what kind of guilt or what kind of movie you saw or what kind of romantic idea that you have about your life. I help a lot of celebrity kids, and I got to jack them up sometimes because they're around so many other celebrities that they think that they are as talented as their dad's friends. But sometimes it's really not the way it is. Are you with me? All right, so maybe they can't sing like their dad's friend, but let's get real. But maybe your reality is still phenomenal. See, maybe you're not the singer, but maybe you're the writer. Okay? Maybe you're not the actress, but you are the producer. So we got to find the favorite path. Say, what's my favorite path? Say, what is my favorite path? Because that's what you're really trying to figure out in this world. The path for your life is the thing that is deep inside of you that speaks. Your dream talks. But a lot of you turn down the volume. Your dream talks. Say that, my dream talks. So your dream talks to you. It was talking to you when you were little. I'ma be. It's a song by the Black Eyed Peas. Fergie, who has always been nice to me, Fergie comes from Hacienda Heights. She lived right across the street from people that I know on Thaxton. She's from Hacienda Heights, from Thaxton Street. Fergie was always singing and always telling everybody in the neighborhood what she was going to be. I'ma be what she did. What were you saying when you were little? Because it probably can lead me to what you should be doing as an adult. Say, my dream talks. But again, the volume can come down based on your circumstances, your situations, and the people that you're around. Because some of you, your dream was talking, and you began to voice what your dream was saying to you, and people did not take you seriously. So you done missed it. But that's okay, because now we got another chance. Say, favor is on my path. In the second session tonight, I'm going to tell a story about Peter, this guy in the Bible by the name of Peter. And Peter was a fisherman. Somebody say, Peter was a fisherman. But his favor path was going to shift. Here's what I want to get you open to. What if your path that you're on is not right? How much would that mess you up? Okay? Because you thinking this is the way it's going to be. I'm going to go to Hollywood, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to take place, and then this is how they're going to see me, and then Harvey Levin from TMZ is going to chase me. Come on, people. And then it's going to be amazing, but I'm going to be humble, and I'm going to be humble, and I'm going to help my family, but I'm going to be humble because I'm amazing, but yet I'm humble. When I was young, I thought I was going to be an entertainer. And I was called to help entertainers. But everybody that saw Tim's story saw entertainment. I can dance. I was funny. I was happy. Entertainment. All the teachers you say, you're going to be an entertainer. No, I'm going to help entertainers. So I had to get a slight adjustment. One of the things that you're going to get from me by hanging around me, I'm going to tweak you a little bit. Because if you don't check yourself, you're going to wreck yourself. And then I got to deal with you 7 years down the line. You're saying, how come it's not working? Because you put your ladder leaning up against the wrong wall. Somebody say, this is good already. So favor's on your person, say person. Favor's on your path, say path. So now we understand that it's on your person, so you don't need to take too many more selfies. We know you're fantastic. We become the selfie generation. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot right now. Oh my gosh, this is weird. I'm feeling myself. I was walking in the Chicago airport, and I'm not going to lie, this girl was really cute. She was a flight attendant. She was like, work it, rock it, work it. She had her bag. She was walking. And out of nowhere, Sid, she stopped and took a selfie of herself. She went, pew. I'm so fancy. So now you know you have favor. So let's get over ourselves. So now what is my favorite path? How do I find it? Well, there's many ways. You can get to know your dad's friends who are powerful, your mother's friends who are powerful. Take an Anthony Robbins course. Study L. Ron Hubbard book. Take a Mary Williamson class. I'm just talking about people who come to me and they say, these are things that I'm doing, and I just listen. I'm not saying one's right or wrong. I just listen. Or I'm going to Israel, or I'm going to the Middle East, or I'm going to Yosemite to find myself. Again, your favorite path is in you and talking. So I need to stop, I need to look, and I need to listen. Oh, this is so good. We have become a world of human doings rather than human beings. And where y'all running to anyway? Oh my gosh, I'm so busy. You're texting. Come on. Like all my friends are like Twitter monsters. You know, let me tell you something. You keep tweeting so much, your words won't have impact. Do you think Mick Jagger's tweeting right now somewhere? Like, yo, I'm hanging out with Bruce Springsteen. Come on, somebody. I'm taking a picture of what we're eating. I'm not putting us down, but it's gone way overboard. Get in the moment. If your kid's playing soccer, watch them score the goal in real time. If you're in a moment, you don't always have to be doing this. Be in this sucker on real time. One of my good friends, Bernie Brillstein, one of the most powerful men in this town, he's went to heaven. He was one of my great friends, and some of his friends will be here in the second meeting. Bernie, he said, Storey, you notice I don't carry a cell phone? He said, because I want to be in the moment. If anybody that's around me, you'll know that when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. As many people as are looking for me right now, whatever, I'm here. I'm in the moment. I'm dialed into you. This is a moment we've been waiting for. Dial in. Clap like it's making sense. Does this make sense to anybody? Come on, does it make sense to anybody? Say stop. So I'm trying to help you how to find your favorite path. You got to stop. Say stop. See, when people are sick, they come up with great ideas, but I do not think that sickness is something you should be looking for. But many times when somebody is sick, they get an epiphany. Even you can get a cold and be like out for 4 days, like, oh my gosh, I'm so miserable. I want to get outside. And then you're like, for 2 days, you're like going through withdrawals. Come on. And now you're like watching Wendy Williams. You're like, I didn't know Wendy Williams was on TV. Come on. You're watching shows you never thought you'd watch. And then you start coming up with these ideas because you stopped. People who struggle with illnesses, because I work with them on a daily basis, a lot of them come up with amazing ideas because they stopped. Some of you, look at me, you need to take a time out. Time out. Somebody say stop. Say look. When I say stop, I mean stop. When I say look, I mean look. Look where? Look outside of yourself. Look to God. Look to your circumstances. Look about what's going on. Again, we have become a society that is so in their lane that they're not paying attention to what else is going around them. If I'm in Sweden, I'm in Sweden. If I'm in Germany, I'm in Germany. If I'm in Norway, which I just was in Oslo, I'm in Oslo. If I'm in Compton, I'm in Compton. Pay attention to your surroundings. Somebody say stop. Say look. And here we go. Say listen. Wow. We become a generation of people who don't want to listen. I know. Really? You're 14. Like, why did you want to bring me to this Tim Storey thing? Like, the stuff he says is so, like, regular? Oh, really? You figured it all out? That you can't take another vantage point? Man, this is brilliant. Sid will tell you, one of the great things about getting older is that you're open, if you're smart, to other people's opinions. Brilliant people, and I won't name drop, but I wanted to just say somebody that I was around just the other day that's so brilliant and so powerful. But he was saying, what's your take on this? What's your take on this? What's your take on this? You know why? Because he's so brilliant, he's smart enough to say, what is your take on this? You stop, you look, you listen to what's going on. What are other people saying? What are other people saying? What are other people saying? Because one conversation can change your entire life. Somebody clap like one conversation can change your entire life. Come on, people. What are we doing right here? We're having a conversation. What's my favorite path, Mr. Storey? I got favor on me. I got selfies to prove it. Your favorite path has already been paved, and God has already gone before you to clear the path. Do you know that I'm not trying anything? I really am not. I've done radio shows. Some worked. Sirius XM, that worked. CBS signed me. Hasn't worked yet. Might. Got signed by Telepictures to do my own talk show. That's pretty big. People that do the Ellen show. You haven't seen me on it yet. Didn't roll out yet. Shot another big pilot recently. It may work. Maybe I may find out tomorrow that the thing works. Working on other projects. I'm not trying stuff. I'm following favor. No. If you could ever get this, it'll change your life. Oh my gosh, I've been up since early this morning. I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired because I've been on my grind. Oh, really? I didn't know this was just you pulling this thing off. See, I'm going to teach you to cooperate with what heaven has said. If I can get you to cooperate with what heaven has said, you're going to enjoy the moment, and you're going to feel like you're on one of those people movers at the airport when everybody is walking in real time. Come on, people. And you are somehow just flowing on the people mover. Go ahead and clap like you're going to flow on the people mover. Say this. Say, I'm not trying things. I'm simply following the favor. Does anybody buy this besides me? No, honestly, lift your hand if you will buy into this. Even people that are not religious, I talk to them about this. They go, "That's exactly how it happened." Doors just started opening. I think sometimes you're so uptight trying to make this deadline. Okay, by 22, I'm going to be married to an amazing man. Come on. By 28, I will have 2 amazing kids with the most amazing test scores ever. Come on, somebody. At 30, I will live in the flats in Beverly Hills. I will go to Frederick Fekkai, get my hair done. They will know me at Barney's in the Christian Louboutin department. Come on. I will have my life. Really? 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 God's delays are not God's denials. Some people aren't ready for you yet. It's not always that you're not ready. Some people can't handle what you're cooking in the kitchen. Man, this is so doggone good. See, everybody thinks Pharrell Williams is so young. He's not that young anymore. Go back, look at early YouTube, look at the Neptunes, look at behind the scenes, look at Kanye West when Jay-Z's not even paying attention to him. But what am I doing in the meantime? You're marinating. You're marinating. The second session, I'm going to go through these notes with vigor. And I got a lot of notes. I'm following the favor. You've heard 1/16 of them. I'm going to bring to the stage a true legend, a true Marvel legend, a true friend, a smart man that's going to talk to us about how to get there. How many want to get to the right places in life and take your doggone family to another level? I'm going to ask Randall Smalls. Randall's been traveling with me for over 25 years. Joseph, they come and put him in the back. If you bring him in the front, then everybody's watching. Randall's been traveling with me for over 25 years. Randall's fantastic. Randall Smalls, come on up here, take the stage. Give Randall a big clap. And I want you to give a big clap like you honor people for truly a wonderful mind and a great man. Can you give this man a big, big clap? Mr. Sid Jacobson. You may be seated.
It's all about being on the fly, huh, Sid? Mm-hmm. I was wondering, when Tim was talking about dreams, being that you're a writer, you're an artist, you're a songwriter, Sid created Richie Rich. How many of you have ever read Richie Rich? I used to read Richie Rich all the time. Amazing. And Casper the Friendly Ghost. Anybody? Yeah.
I didn't create Casper. I recreated it.
He recreated it. Yeah, because it wasn't going anywhere, right? What did you do with Casper that helped it come to life?
Well, originally Casper was a dead child who lived in a cemetery, and it had the comic books, and the animation was not very successful, and the comic books hardly sold. And at that time, Harvey got the rights to it, and a man named Warren Kremer, who to me was the greatest artist ever in comics. He worked with me as an art editor at the time, and he did the original drawings of Richie and so many of the other characters. And he then went with me to Marvel, and we created a whole lot of characters there. But Casper was basically there just to find a friend, and thus the friendly ghost. We made him into a hero and a character that existed in a haunted house and existed as if he was a fairy or an elf or one of those things. He always existed as a ghost. That was our thinking, and it worked. And then we brought in a whole slew of other characters like Spooky and Wendy and the Ghostly Trio and Nightmare. That made Casper, the whole sense of it, the enchanted forest, that was part of it also. And then we did Richie, soon after that.
It worked.
It worked.
Was it something that, Tim was talking about when you're a kid and your dreams and sticking with what you want to be. What did you want to be when you were
a journalist?
A journalist. And
that's what I tried to be.
How did that work out?
Well, I had two jobs when I got out of college at two newspapers that folded. And I then went to see, my sister had worked at Harvey doing gags for several of the magazines. And I went, a friend of my sister's actually, suggested, why don't you go see the Harveys? And I did, and I got hired to become an assistant editor. And I had no interest at that time. I loved comics.
Right.
I mean, I grew up with comics and the whole early superheroes. But I had no real interest in becoming a comic book editor. But the Alfred Harvey, who was the president, said, what we're going to do is also get into the magazine business. That I wanted to do.
Right.
So
he dangled that carrot
dangled
of
that
journalistic
and I grabbed
endeavors.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Never did it.
Did you find though that made sense for you in pursuing your dream because it still had, you wanted to be a journalist, but it still had something to do with writing. So you were able to say, yeah, I'll go that direction.
Well, it was story development and
Right.
character development. And at first, no, I mean, people used to ask me, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a comic book editor. I said, what?
Good
I
move.
said, I'm a comic book editor. I mean, true. One time I met my second wife's niece, and she said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a comic book editor. She said, that's the coolest thing in the world.
Ah.
And suddenly I said, the hell with this hand. you
Right.
And I began to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But and the people, I was telling someone today that the people in comics, the artists, were some of the most creative people. They never went to college. Most of the artists never went to college, but they were the best readers I have ever known. And they also, it seems to work that art and music work together.
Right.
And they either themselves were could do by ear. They could do music by ear. They could play the piano by ear, or their children were into music or art.
Right.
I mean, it was a fantastic thing to see. But they worked together. I mean, they worked together, the writers and the artists and the editors, and that was an extraordinary thing.
Well, I asked you that question about you want to be a journalist, you end up being a comic book editor, and then realizing that it works. If we're pursuing our dreams, it may not always be a glaring big sign of here, apply here, your dream's going to happen here. Sometimes we have to follow something, as Tim is saying, there was favor to go in that direction, so it opened the door for you to go, even though you didn't understand that all that would work.
Right.
In that process, was there ever a time when, say, Casper started working and Richie Rich started working? In your career, were there times where you felt like, people describe, on top of the mountain? Did you experience any of those kind of times where it feels like, wow, this is working?
Oh, yes. I mean, and primarily, I think it was the working together with people and developing stories and characters and events in a way, and feeling quite accomplished, and some of these things becoming quite famous. I mean, Casper movies, Richie movies. I mean, now there's going to be a whole new Richie group of live action TV things. But it gained prominence, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling. But also now, my partner Ernie Colon, who I worked with for long years at Harvey and at Marvel, has started writing graphic books. And what it was is based on basically what we learned doing comics and how to utilize it, but also to know while we were at Harvey's, we found that comics had been used during World War II to teach the soldiers and sailors and Marines different aspects of things, and also used as civic lessons and for cities and municipalities. But we saw it. I mean, they did a lot of work on that. And this was very exciting to see. So one day, Ernie calls me, and he said, do you know what a graphic book is? I said, yeah, a graphic novel. I've seen them. He said, what do you think of doing the 9/11 report in graphics? And I said, wow. I mean, he claims I said, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
And perhaps I did. But it was very exciting. I said, I'm going to get the book. I'll look at it this weekend, and I'll let you know immediately. And I thought immediately I saw what could be done with it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this has emerged. This became a bestseller. And
Can I hold you for a second?
Yeah.
When you immediately saw something like that,
Right.
How did that happen? Because if we're talking about dreams and following our favor, sometimes you get into something that may fit into your field, and then something like that happens. Bam, 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 bam. You see it. How did that manifest?
The first thing,
is that a regular thing with you, where you saw?
well, certainly now. I mean, that I've done 6 of these books. That what can be done, but at that point I didn't know what could be done. And nonfiction had not been done yet in that format. But I knew it could be done because of our knowledge of what Harvey's had done. I mean, what I later found out, because I got a call from someone who had written a book on the whole history of these books. And the person called me if I would write a foreword to it. And what I found, I said, yes, indeed. And I did. And what I found was this goes back to World War I. Not to World War II, that this was used. So this is basically an old thing that has been used. But when we came out with what I saw was there is a good part of the 9/11 report was a commission report. It was a congressional commission that was asked to go into what went on before 9/11 to try and investigate that and make suggestions of what could be done. And it was a multi-million seller. But no one could read it. It was, I think, about 450 pages, but very difficult. It was written for Congress. And so what you had to do is find a way to simplify it for the public to know what was in there. And what I immediately saw was part of it, as I was reading it, was a description of the 4 planes of that day and what they did. And I said, at what time, at the same time, what was happening? And I read it and read it and read it. I swear I couldn't understand it after an hour of reading of what was where. And I said, what a way to show this graphically. So do a timeline of 4 planes, and to be able to show at different times of that day where these planes were. And the incredible thing that you saw was that when the first plane crashed into the center, the last plane had not gotten off the ground. So the point was, immediately you could see that the communication was terrible. They didn't get it. So that was the moment. You say, hell, certainly this type, graphically, comics if you would, really can show things that you can't in any other way, no matter how you explain it. And it actually took Ernie to draw it almost hours to figure out again from it, because I was writing it. So that was the thing, to show what graphically can be done.
Sure. And the feeling of having, you mentioned it, with this project, with the 9/11 project, and then with the far-reaching extent of comic books and graphic arts and so forth, the impact you have on people, the contribution that you have to people. I mean, I know it brought a lot of joy to me as a young guy reading Richie Rich comics and Casper comics and so forth. So that feeling of, if this is the Dream Academy and we're talking about building our dreams, would you say it's safe to say that you were experiencing dream come true type experiences
Oh, absolutely.
in that? It was,
Oh, totally.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was hugely important. I mean, suddenly I said, my God, I'm doing it. I'm doing journalism. I'm doing history.
Were there any things, just as we start to wrap it up, because I know we got to get into the next session, were there any particular words of wisdom that kept you going when the times where you weren't maybe feeling as on top of the mountain? I mean, because there were those times as well, right? I mean, did that ever happen?
Well, what it was, I mean, during that time, while I was working at Harvey's and then at Marvel, I wrote several novels, which were published. I wrote a baseball biography of my favorite player.
Which was?
No one will know. Pete Reiser was his name.
Pete Reiser.
Right.
Okay.
Should be known, but he's not. Because
Okay.
the agent who had it said, "Oh my God, we're going to make a fortune. This is going to be made into a movie. It'll be everything." What he found out is that not one publisher knew who the hell he was.
Right.
I'm the last one.
So that's one of those things though that we're talking about in the course
Right.
of your dreams.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
you thought that
Right.
was ready for takeoff and it went never
Right.
got off the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
But boy, did I get fan letters.
Yeah, well,
Truly, people
yeah.
my age.
That they're the 7 people who knew who Pete was, right? That
No.
yeah. This season, you know I'm teasing. But
Look at 1941.
okay. Well, I don't go back that far.
I know.
Okay, so.
But just look at the baseball book for that.
But in the meantime, keeping you going during times like that, because I know everybody in here, if you're pursuing dreams and you want to follow the favor, there are those times where you have the projects where you think it's going to soar and it didn't. What did you have anything that kept you going?
Yes.
Were there any sayings or any?
No,
or
what
just,
I
what
did
is
is
it?
other things. I did that. I wrote songs. I had 12 hits.
Yeah, we
songs
didn't even
during
get to
period.
that you wrote songs.
But that was part of it. I was doing this while I was working at Harvey's and then at Marvel, and that was the thing. It filled my life with all forms of creation,
Right.
creativity,
So in the meantime, while other things that you were expecting to go
or hope to go.
and hope to go, they didn't go where you want them to go, you're working on other things.
Correct.
Like Tim was saying, not trying things, you're doing things that came to you to keep moving in the same direction, right?
Correct.
Right. That's good. Very good.
I hope it's of some help.
One last question before we let you go. To anyone in wanting to live their dreams and development at this stage of your career and your life, are there any words of encouragement and thought in the
Keep
process
going.
of dreams?
Keep going. I mean, what I find
Hold that up.
is that so many people around my age, if you would, friends of mine, colleagues of mine, have not stopped working. The ones who have retired are those who hated the work they did. They might have made money, they might, to allow them to do it, but they hated it. It had no fulfillment. But the ones who loved it, and this is a whole group of writers my age and older, who are still doing it, and don't stop, and love it, and love getting up every day to do it.
Wow.
It's been wonderful to see this,
Yeah.
and to go on creating.
Love what
And-
you do and keep doing it.
Right.
I love it.
So to find what really fulfills you is the wonderful thing in life, and you will never want to stop, as I don't.
Fantastic.
Find it.
Sid Jacobson. Thank you.